Hey Mark, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Ready to discuss these exciting rule changes for the game.
Yeah, yeah. So for everybody out there, we're I guess we'll be dropping a bunch of videos over the next day or so. But one of the things we wanted to cover is the rules updates that were just announced by KeyForge, or yeah, by Fantasy Flight Games. Um, and then there's a couple other things we'll go into as well, fun stuff related to the Age of Ascension release, but we wanted to start by digging into these rules updates. So,
hmm hmm
um, so the first one is a change to step two, which is choose a house. Um, and the like quintessential example where this matters is if you happen to get a Maverick Pit Lord. Um, Pit Lord says while Pit Lord is in play, you must choose Dees as your active house. But if you get it as a Maverick, then
And there's no dis in your deck.
right, then what happens? Um, and the answer is that if you do not have if you do not have Dees on your Archon card, and you also do not have Dees in your uh, creatures under your control, then then you cannot, and cannot wins against must. So
Yep, yep.
so you can't. So that's pretty.
Basically, you can't choose this,
Yeah,
so you must choose a different house.
yeah. So that's nice because that makes this actually a playable Maverick.
Yeah, and it actually makes it a pretty nice playable Maverick. A two amber creature with taunt, man, that's welcome in
Yeah,
just about any house.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And I mean better than yeah. There are a few cards that other cards that reference their house, but in a less restrictive way, and those ones maybe are worse Mavericks. This one ends up being better because of the way this ruling works out.
hmm hmm Yeah.
Um, cool. Okay. So the next one is bait and switch. Mark, do you want to explain that one?
Yeah, so bait and switch got the nerf hammer, so to speak. So bait and switch got an errata should read play if your opponent has more amber than you, steal one amber, repeat the preceding effect if your opponent still has more amber than you. And from the FAQ, basically, before if your opponent had 14 amber and you had zero and you played bait and switch, you would steal seven. It would trigger 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this situation, bait and switch's effect will be triggered 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
When the effect is triggered for the first time, it checks if your opponent has more amber than you, and if they do, it will repeat the first effect again, dealing another amber. And however, since the card says to repeat the preceding effect and not the whole effect, it
Mm-hmm.
can only ever trigger twice.
Yep. Yeah.
So
So.
I actually did a little
Mm-hmm.
research, and they've had this question in here since the first version of the rules,
Mm-hmm.
and actually version 1.1, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
because the first version didn't have FAQ.
Right.
But since 1.1, and it did have this exact same question, but with a different answer. So
Mm-hmm.
they did change the answer, and they
Uh-huh.
did change how the card.
Okay. Yeah. And I think uh, it generally speaking, it's such a swingy card that the opponent can't do much about.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
that I think it does make sense to make the change. I feel like they hit it pretty hard. Um, and the I guess the issue I have with it, or I don't know, it's not a huge issue, but where I maybe would have tried to be a little softer on it is that if bait and switch has a floor of it's a blank card, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's possible for it to just do nothing. Um, in situations where a card like routine job would at least steal one. Um, Too much to protect would at least gain you an amber,
Mm-hmm.
and so with that floor of 0 and now a ceiling of 2 instead of an infinite ceiling, it seems to me like that bait and switch is now just like not a card I'm that excited to see.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it plays out.
Yes.
I could be wrong about that, but I think the ceiling
It,
got way lower.
it did, and especially since it's a common, you can only get one of it in your deck. You can't get more than
Yeah.
one. It's definitely way less of a good card than it used to be.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's a yeah.
Yeah, I think they knew from the beginning it would be swingy, but the that effect on competitive play is probably just a little uh
There's
too
no way
big.
that they could have known that that card was going to be as oppressive on the competitive meta as it was.
Yeah, my
Um,
suspicion is I don't know that they really expected there to be as much of a competitive meta as there is, and if you're just playing with a friend over the table, then it's quite a fun effect, but
mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm.
it's the variance level is really high. Um, so yeah, well there you go. All right, and then and then the big one. So so library access has been changed. Library access. What's printed on it is for the remainder of the turn. Each time you play another card, draw a card. But uh, what it should say now is for the remainder of the turn. Each time you play another card, draw a card, purge library access. So it purges
Brutal,
itself.
brutal.
Yeah, I this I thought I became convinced after another video I did and losing 4 out of 5 matchups. Um, I became convinced that library access needed some sort of errata, but I thought they would do something like add alpha to it or something like
Mhm.
that. That would be prevent you from using it twice, but not hit it quite as hard. And this is you know purge itself is basically as harsh as you can go without saying, oh, it should just say I'm a blank card.
Yeah, either that or it's about as far as you can go without having a ban on any deck with this card in it.
Right.
Yeah, which I'm glad they didn't go that far.
Yeah, that yeah, and yeah, this is a much better solution than that. Um, and and library access can still be good. So I don't think that it's ruined the card like some people think, but again, it's definitely lowered the ceiling quite a bit. But I think for this card, that lowering the ceiling was really important.
Yes, yes, making the game more accessible to people who don't, like I guess, play super competitively makes
Hmm.
the game a lot better for a lot more people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and who aren't willing to spend $1,000 on eBay?
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, yeah, and I've had a good run beating a double library access combo deck, but it is there's so much like, well, if these 2 cards come out, then it's game over, and that's just not good. It's not healthy. So yeah,
Yeah, I got to the point where if I was playing my library access Nepenthe deck on the Crucible,
hmm
I would literally apologize before playing it. Or I was like, okay, I'm practicing this.
right.
Don't be mad.
Well, yeah, and I think that's fantastic too because it means as someone who owns a deck like that, maybe you have a deck like that and it's just generally good, but you
Hmm.
felt bad because of this combo,
Right.
and now you can feel good about bringing that deck because it's not
Hmm.
it's not stupid anymore. It's just good,
Uh
and
huh.
that's fine. Um, cool. Um, okay, and then you want to read the last one?
Yeah, so the last one we have here is the change to Drummer Not. And Drummer Knot's gone through a couple of changes before release. I think it originally said return a friendly giant creature to your hand. Play fight reap, return a friendly giant creature to your hand. Then they changed it to play fight reap. You may return a friendly
Hmm.
giant creature to your hand. And now the final one, Germinat, play fight reap, return another friendly giant
Yeah.
creature to your hand. So they got rid of that optional part of it, so
Right.
you have to do it. Um, but it can't be the same drum or not,
Right. Yeah.
which is, I think, a good balanced way to do it. That
Yep.
way you don't have something like if you get a legacy hunting witch out there, you have a Jummernaut just going back and forth between the hand for 6 amber. Um, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Glad that's not. I'm glad that's not happening.
Yep. Yeah. 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 And you had that double drummer knot Ganger Chieftain combo going off
Yep.
in one of the games we played earlier. That was pretty fun. So and it works fine with the wording, the new wording. So seems good.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was
Mm-hmm.
one other rules thing that I wanted to bring up that came up. Um, they've they have a few other updates to the FAQ, and we won't go through all of them, but some people had highlighted this change that clarifies that sacrifice can only mean a creature you control, and so this big thread started about whether if you use Nexus on, for example, a Nepenthe seed, whether it sacrifices the Nepenthe seed, um, and a lot of people coming up with interesting theories that I disagree with there, but um, anyway, but just I guess a reminder that there's always new fun rules questions lurking around the corner.
Yes.
And I look forward to seeing that one clarified. I think I know what the answer is, but I'm never 100% sure on these things.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with what just happened with the new erratas to bait and switch library access, you never know what's going to come. So,
Right. Well, and and they're being honest. It's an errata. They
mm-hmm,
realized things needed to change, and so they did it, and that seems good.
mm-hmm,
As long as they're
yep.
the straightforwardness is good. So cool. Okay. Well, then, yeah, the other thing I kind of wanted to run through is they posted today with their announcement that the Age of Ascension stuff is ready, and they had posted stuff about these playmats before, but I was just looking through and uh, enjoying the art, um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was wondering, do you have a particular one of these that you are thinking, oh, maybe I need a second playmat. I could find space for that one.
Let's see. Well, I'm a big fan of the ones that came out with Call of the Archon.
Uh-huh.
But if I had to get one of these, huh, I would say either the Stormcrawler, the Mars one, um, the Lemindra one from Shadows is pretty
Uh-huh.
cool.
Yeah.
That one too. Um, yeah, I think either of those two. Both of those are pretty cool.
Yep.
Um, what about you?
Uh, I really like. Well, yeah, I really like the in the lab one, the one with Pip Pip.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a sucker for logos. The drummer not one is
Logos is
fun, but
awesome.
yeah, the drummer not one is fun, but not really me. And then yeah, and then the Hypnopotamus one is really cool. I love the Untamed color scheme.
Yeah.
I love the Mighty Tiger playmat. Yeah, this one's fantastic too. Um, and what I would really be a sucker for is if they have one that has the the opal and
Oh, that would be cool. Onyx.
yeah, the
Open
opal and
Onyx
onyx
Knights.
knights. you know,
That would be
that whole
awesome.
scene, I would, yeah, it'd be real hard to
Maybe
keep myself from getting that one.
get like a 2-player playmat with that on it. That would be cool.
Yeah, that could be okay. I mean, I think it'd be fine just in the one player size either way.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just such a cool scene. Um,
Hmm. I
so
like that those two cards go together.
yeah, yup.
I thought it
Yeah,
was
people like
interesting that they introduced this playmat down on the bottom, the Cermero's playmat,
oh yeah,
for left-handed player, or for
yeah,
I guess, yeah, basically a left, like something that they haven't introduced before. Everything's usually been oriented off to the right of the playmat, but the Cermero's
right,
playmat is oriented off to the left, so it's a new introduction of something like that.
yeah, yeah. That is really cool. Um, I
Because
I've got
not everyone
nothing
holds.
against left-handed people, so I'm glad they get something.
Right?
I
Boy.
I I hope they printed 1/7 of the. Actually, you know what? That's not even. Um, the truth is probably the way statistics work out. Uh, you know, they'll sell more than 1/7 of these than they do of the other one, uh, just because there are probably more options for right-handed people, right? So,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
anyway,
Yeah.
why are right-handed people the stem rager? What's up with that?
That's actually a pretty okay card. I'm okay with that.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what other new swag comes up soon, and we'll find out. And I'm really stoked to see to open more decks and to see more of your decks too as we go along in the Age of Ascension.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. We'll have to play another Steel game sometime soon.
I feel like that setup we did worked out pretty well. Maybe we could improve it a bit, but I thought it was pretty good. So we'll do more of
it,
that.
it, it was pretty good. Yeah, I agree. All right.
Cool. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Have a good night, everybody else out there. Keep on forging.